Hey, Angel.
Yeah.
Why don't you start your show?
All righty. Well, thanks to that delay. Thanks to yours truly.
I need some.
Yeah.
Do you have any music to open up your show with?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to switch over to. I was just, getting on my own self here.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
He was vamping. All right.
Yeah.
Let's shut up.
It feels good to see the world getting loose. Feels good to see the world getting loose. I don't know about you, Sack Noel. I don't know about you, Phenom. I don't know about you, White Shadow. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I'm 2 + 2, I'm for sure. You down, I'm down, baby, let's go. You stop, you drop, baby, then roll. You twerk, you pop, booty so swole. I'd hate me too if I were you. And when it comes to billions, I'll take 2. It's only one life, you don't get 2. So live life, don't let it live you.
I got a pocket full of $100 bills. Put on a jacket, cause these diamonds give you chills. 2 shots I'm running, 2 out I'm stunning tonight. Yeah. Look in the mirror, I'm like, who the hell is he? So many whips and cribs, I'm losing track of keys. Ooh, up to something. Ooh, yeah, I love it, alright. Alright.
Yeah, I'm drinking out the bottle. Get loose, hanging with supermodels. Get loose, feel like I hit the lotto. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good.
Stand by, folks. Stand by. Unfortunately, we're having audio issues. Stand by. All right, test 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully the audio has come back. I was getting messages that the audio's bad. I guess before we roll on with the show, I want to make sure those who are listening in on the app can give us a heads up. I know, Steven, you're listening in. Dave, Miss Robin, somebody. Hopefully we heard the audio is really bad in the opening intro there. So let's hope it's working. Unfortunately, I don't know because I can't do the. Let's see. Let's switch back to the other audio. Hang on, folks. This is what happens when you go live. This is what happens. This is what happens. Okay. All right. Hopefully, boy, what a way to start the Friday show. Holy crap.
It's like my week, man. Had a pipe burst. I haven't been open all week. It's been freezing temperatures, 20 inches of snow, a pipe burst on Tuesday. I was in there at the plumbers today, so that's all fixed up. So hopefully Monday I can have a better week in the shop.
Sure. Hopefully. All right. We're going to try and give this a go again. I just got the green light from Miss Robin and Dave. Thanks, Dave Benz. By the way, before I hit the reset on the audio, hopefully this time around it comes in a lot better. But for those who have not listened to the fantastic show from 1 to 3 LFG with Dave Benz, Jim Cosymore, Matt Fowler, and then soon Jess Taylor, you guys got to listen in. Fantastic show. It was great from top to bottom today, even along with Defo and Luby, as always. They had a great time today. So we're going to hit the reset. We're going to try to do this again because I can't come into the show, Dave. It's got to be the whole shebang. So we're going to try this again. Sorry, folks, if the second intro will come around here. Of course, this will make great for the best of when things go awry. But all right, we're going to try and give the audio a second go around. Then we'll close it down and we'll start it back up again. So here is the top of the show. It is Martinez Company here with myself and Real Delco Dave.
It feels good to see the world getting loose. Feels good to see the world getting loose. I don't know about you, Sack Noel. I don't know about you, Phenom. I don't know about you, White Shadow. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I'm 2+2, I'm for sure. You down, I'm down, baby, let's go. You stop, you drop, baby, then roll. You twerk, you pop, booty so swole. I'd hate me too if I were you. And when it comes to billions, I'll take two. It's only one life, you don't get two. So live life, don't let it live you.
I got a pocket full of $100 bills. Put on a jacket, cause these diamonds give you chills. 2 shots I'm running, 2 out I'm stunning tonight. Tonight, yeah. Look in the mirror, I'm like, who the hell is he? So many whips and cribs, I'm losing track of keys. Ooh, up to something, ooh, yeah, I love it, alright.
All right, it is Friday night, and normally, as it is with the LFG show that I was just talking about, on their promo as it comes in, it says, let's freaking go. But because of the snafu we had just now, let's fucking go. It is Friday night here at Martinez and Company. I am Angel Martinez, filling in for Rich Quinones. It is Real Delco Dave here on a Friday night in the beautiful Tampa studios. I think we're still at 77 degrees. 61 degrees. So we've dropped about 9 degrees. Sorry, Dave.
I feel terrible for you. I feel real terrible for you.
Listen, we were in a little bit of a chill, so we'll be back in chilly temperatures tomorrow. But nonetheless, it is 61 degrees. You guys are listening to the best sports network on the planet. And I'll say it again, the best sports network on the planet. Pete Shepard was off this morning, but I tell you what, the best of was absolutely terrific. Pete will be back on Monday. He had to get his, listen, Pete gets his gambling tips in. I try to listen to the man as much as I possibly can, Dave, because he just gives out winners. And that's all we want. I want winners. And unfortunately, though, the Bet Sporting app laughs at me. I'm like, oh, look, here comes Schmuck. I'm about to take his money. So I'm trying for sure. But Pete Shepard starts the day off from 7 to 10 a.m. You guys will hear him on Monday morning, followed by Defo and Luby. Defo and Luby always doing a great job. So they're on from 10 to 12, and then the best of between 12 and 1 as the lovely producer walks in from Studio B to let me know that everything sounds good. And then from 1 to 3, as I mentioned before, LFG, Dave Benz, Jim Cozymore, those guys knock it out the park. Pete does it by himself in the morning. I always say it. But Jim and Dave, what a great time. What a great pickup by the network. This network continues to get better each and every damn day. And it's absolutely fantastic. I'm glad I'm a part of it. And then from 3 to 6, you guys just heard Tony and Miss Robin. And no, as someone faked his death today, he is alive and well. It wasn't ChatGPT. It wasn't AI. It was the real Tony Bruno. He was on from 3 to 6. They will be back tonight at 7 o'clock on the No Filter Network. And as I always say, you guys can listen in over on No Filter Network or watch the show, of course, there, because you can't really listen in as much. But download the apps so you can hear myself and Dave as you're watching the No Filter Network. And tonight with Tony and Miss Robin, that's always a party from 7 to 9 p.m. on the No Filter Network. So then, of course, myself here and Dave. Normally it's Rich from 6 to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. And then tonight, of course, Bleacher Brothers is off. AJ is out there in Las Vegas. He is scouting out all the good spots that we'll be hanging out at, Dave. So Radio Row, it's coming up pretty quick. We hope to have a great time. But so that is the lineup here. And you guys can always call into the show at 844-644-TONY, 844-644-8669. And for my Spanish-speaking friends, 844-644-8669. You know, because people, I don't know what it is with people. Sometimes they say, oh, just end everything with an O. And then I understand your language. Like, shut up. Shut up. Not the case. But Dave, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. You know, you talked how chilly it was. It's actually warming up out here, man. It's up to a balmy 5 degrees after being in negative temperatures for the last week.
Yeah, I've heard. I have heard. And no wonder why the pipes burst. Listen, that is stuff. I'm telling you, after being up in the Northeast for a majority of my life, minus the military, I do not miss it whatsoever. I don't.
Yeah, I've only been open. The shop's only been open like 5 days out of the last 3 weeks, just between snow, the pipe bursting, holidays and stuff. So it's been a struggle these past few weeks.
No. I don't freaking, I just don't miss it. I'm sorry. I just don't, because it's one of those things. I mean, we all know the winter comes around, and this is also to other people as well. Speaking of about people and the way things go woke and then you go broke, but I'll get into that in a little bit. But how about those naysayers that keep saying about global warming? Then they come out and they say this nonsense about, well, you're going to get times where it's going to get cold, because it's part of global warming. It's going to get cold, part of global warming. That makes so much sense. It really does. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's just, it's so idiotic. I can't believe that people actually fall for this nonsense. And if you guys look, every 5 years, we go through this, right? We get a good stretch of weather. Even if you live in the Northeast, you'll get like 3 to 5 years where you'll get nothing. No snow, mild winters. You might get a lot of rain, which isn't bad for the wintertime, truthfully, up north. And then, you get an Indian summer. And if that winter, you get many Indian summers, as it's called, back in the day, then that following year, yeah, you're going to get lambasted with snow. But supposedly this week, though, you guys are supposed to start thawing out because it's supposed to get at least a little bit warmer.
Yeah, we're hoping so. It's hoping to warm up. But yeah, no, talking weather and climate change with any of those woke activists is like playing chess with a pigeon. Doesn't matter what you say or do. They're just going to knock all the pieces over, shit all over the board, and strut around like they won.
Nice. Pete Shepard checks in. He says it's 71 here in Fort Myers. See, so they're a little bit warmer than I am, but that's okay. Defo sounds good. And he's like, yeah, and they're sharing a picture here about and thanks, Steven, for saying that the intro is coming clear. Thank you to AJ in San Antonio as well. As you guys are making the comments, AJ, well, there it is. Matter of fact,
yep.
Audio on the app is good. And sounds good on the Facebook feed too as well. Thank you, AJ, for you guys checking in and let us know. Because, of course, I don't know. We go on air. We hope that everything sounds and looks good, and we just go from there. By the way, you guys, don't forget, download the apps. We cannot emphasize that enough. Download the apps so you don't miss a show. You could be in Afghanistan. You could be in Kuwait. You could be in your toilet. You could be wherever you are. You can just load up the app. Matter of fact, you could be up in a plane. As long as they got Wi-Fi in a plane, listen to it. And if you're going to the Paris Olympics, I've been saying it all week long, or you're going to the Super Bowl, just listen to the Tony Bruno Sports Network. All you have to do is go to the Google and or the Apple Store, start putting in Tony, the rest of it in a pile in, and then boom. All you guys got to do is download the apps, and you'll never miss a show, even throughout the weekend, the best of. But don't worry, because pretty soon there'll be some weekend shows as well. AJ Lopez checking in. AJ in San Antonio says, winter of 91, I visited family in Vermont, hoping for a white Christmas. It was 66 degrees in Vermont, 9 degrees in San Antonio. This shit's going to happen. It is. It is. Yep. Absolute truth. It's just the way it is. I mean, I went my high school years, I left from Philly my freshman year, went up to New England, Massachusetts, where my grandmother lived. Now, well, I guess that'd be another story for another day, but how do you come? Here's the big mystery, Dave. You go from a warm climate that is Puerto Rico, and then my mom and dad, before they were gotten married, gotten together, they apparently were dating when they were on the island. Now, my mom is the oldest sibling, so she had to take care of everybody else. Now, I guess the gossipers, that to put it in most polite terms, had told my grandmother, by the way, your daughter is apparently talking to this older man. And so we just figured we'd let you know. And so they found out. Now, when you tell someone you're going to move, normally, like, what's the worst case scenario, Dave? Let's say you had met this girl and your mom at the time said you were too young to date, and she says, we're going to move. Where would you think that you would move to? And just like within the general area?
I mean, if your family's not approving, I'd go as far away as possible, but as long as I stay in the same climate, basically.
Yeah, well, not my grandmother. She decided to pick up the family and move to Massachusetts, of all places. First, they stopped in Hoboken, New Jersey, from what I find out. And I get to hear more and more stories as I get older here. But they stopped in Hoboken. Apparently, they didn't like that one. So they made their way up to Massachusetts. Now, the one thing that my grandmother apparently did not do is look on the meteorological charts and say, so we're used to 70s, maybe a little bit of 80s here in the wintertime. No, you go up to New England, now you have to buy all brand new stuff. So yeah, that was the situation when it came to my mom. But so mom and dad, they end up meeting. They end up in New England. 5 years later, I think my mom was telling me she worked at his factory. My dad end up working at the same factory. They meet again, except for this time, nothing's coming between them because they moved to Philly. Hence, my sister and I were born in Philly. So that's how things became full circle. It's
My parents met my wife like the weekend that I was moving to Nebraska. Like my wife flew out there and was going to drive back to Nebraska with me. Like we were going to pack up and leave. And my mom like didn't know. My wife was like, "Oh, have you told?" We weren't married at the time. My wife's like, "Oh, have you told your parents yet? Like we're going to meet them if we go." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "We're going to go over for dinner." So we go over for dinner. It's like Wednesday or Thursday. We're planning on driving out on Saturday. Sit down, introduce Jess to my parents, and I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "By the way, I'm moving to Nebraska this week."
oh, jeez. Well, I mean, that's the way to do it. You got some people, they don't even say a word, though. Some folks, they're so petrified to say anything to their family, they just pick up and move. And then they call them afterwards, like, where'd you move to? Should I tell you because you come get me? Now it's easier to track the person down. But back in the day, when there was no cell phones, no way to get a hold of people, I mean, you could live around the corner, and unless someone saw you, no one would ever know the difference. But now, with everybody being so tech savvy, hold on, let me ping her phone. Oh, look, she's right downstairs. So it's funny how times have changed. But yeah, I always enjoyed that story from my mom. It took forever to finally get the real story out of her. But yeah, she had her and my dad. I mean, you're talking about a 10-year difference. So my mom just turned 75. Dad will be turning 85 here in June. But and no difference between myself and Debbie. There's a 10-year difference between us as well. But it's stuff it's stuff that doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter anyways. Back in the day, it probably did, but now it means no freaking difference whatsoever. So it's great times, great freaking times. But anyways, so as we talk about obviously the weather, relationships. Oh, excuse me, AJ checking in and says the Colts snap here in Texas was breaking 125-year-old records. Translation. It was the coldest 125 years ago. You woke nut cases. Now, and hold on. Speaking about woke nuts, no pun intended. But so apparently there's this thing that's going around with apparently the stars and all these people of, like in DC or whatever. And apparently they're getting, it's like, if you've seen, there's some shows out there where they have like the new bunkers that you can live on the ground that make them super fancy now. So they're all apparently doing this, and they're all saying that, just stock up with water, blah, 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 this, that, and the other, which, of course, the next supposed great, thing is the vaccine X, which is supposed to wipe out a whole bunch of people, which I wouldn't be surprised because obviously they tried that during COVID and it failed miserably. They did get some people, just not everybody. But then you have AOC. Listen, if you are part of the Butthurt Society, this is where you want to change the channel just for a second, because this one may butthurt you a lot. So AOC, I swear, listen, I don't understand, Dave, for the life of me, how some people get elected into office. This ding-dong decides to make a videotape. Now, mind you, this is now breaking news, okay? She videotapes herself gardening. She points down at the green lettuce and the greens and everything else. She goes, look, everybody, it's green. Stuff that grows from the dirt. Are you kidding me? Did you just not discover that everything basically that we eat comes from the earth? Jesus Christ. I tell you what, man. It's incredible. I swear it's incredible. How? I want to know just how is it possible? You have gone on with life and not realize where your food comes from. But she's too busy worrying about the cows farting and putting all kinds of gases in the air.
Oh, yeah, no. She's a classic, man. She's a walking meme.
She is.
Yeah.
She absolutely is. All right, those who are not butthurt anymore, you can come back now here on the Tony Bruno Sports Network because, listen, it is just as bad as Sports Illustrated. They didn't learn anything from Bud Light, from Budweiser. They're still trying to recover. As you can see now, they had the latest was Peyton Manning and Emmitt Smith to try and save them from passing out Bud Lights to everyone in the bar. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I've seen that commercial a few times. Yep.
Yeah. So now that's what they're doing now, right? Because they have to, and then they have these young kids too. They're partying. Everybody has Bud Light. They're all passing around like, oh, here, drink Bud Light. We're safe again. When you continue to do no different than Disney, except for Disney is trying to mask it as much as they possibly can. But Disney is so different because their wokeness as well has brought the attendance way down. Now, do I know this firsthand? Well, guess where I deliver to? Out there in Orlando. And you can see the parking lot not as jammed as what it used to be before, because it used to take a minute to get inside a park, not as much. And it's not because it's the wintertime. It's just that people are just tired of getting stuff shoved down their throats. And so now Sports Illustrated, no different. So they decided, to change up their cover. And now people have decided, you know what? I unsubscribed to Sports Illustrated. I'm not buying your magazines anymore, blah, 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 all that stuff. So basically today, you'd imagine coming into work today and they tell you, thanks for playing, but you're no longer welcomed here. And by the way, the future of the company, we have no idea what's going to happen. It's utterly ridiculous that these companies still have not learned from all the madness that's going on in this world today.
Yeah, it was the whole staff too. It wasn't just like Formula. They laid off the entire staff. Just completely laid them off. I mean, granted, I think the magazine industry's been, dying for a while now. It's tough to compete in the new age. But Sports Illustrated at one point was trying to evolve and stay competitive. But yeah, they absolutely went completely woke. They were another one. They put a trans on the cover in 2023, I think, right? Yeah. So they did all the body welcoming stuff. They put heavyweight XL models on there and stuff like that. So yeah, they did everything they could to shoot themselves in the foot over and over again, repeatedly.
Yep. So, and listen, the choice that you choose in life, life is about choices. I say it all the time, right? When you wake up in the morning, you choose to have a good day or a bad day. Just like when it comes to ammo and it comes to a weapon. The weapon lays in whatever drawer, wherever else you have it, right? And normally you're not supposed to have it loaded. Now, some people, when it comes to the darkness, they like to load it, put one in a magazine, put one in a chamber, just in case something happens in the middle of the night. But we've seen people too that have shot their own family members because they didn't realize that they were staying at the house and then something happens. But a bullet does not say, who are we killing today? It's the choice that you made to put that round in that chamber, put it in a magazine, lock and load, and shoot. So when people keep saying, well, here's what goes on. Now, does that mean that everybody's going out there crazy shooting people up? No, but you do have people that obviously are going to abuse it as well, because some folks, even down here in Florida, where people just have road rage, and now I guess because I'm pissed, I'm going to shoot you. That makes a lot of sense. It's so dumb. It's ridiculous. But Sports Illustrated now, paying just like everybody else. You had such a great run. So many people every year, even if they didn't buy the magazine throughout the entire year, you knew when the SI swimsuit came out, that was the one that everybody was going to get. But not anymore, because now they have no idea what's going to end up happening. And there's going to be more companies to follow suit the same exact way, because you can't keep not only lying to the American people, but trying to keep shoving nonsense, no different than the NFL, who finally decided to change all their wording and blah, blah. Now it's be love. I like for someone to explain to me, be love. So am I supposed to be loving somebody else? Is someone supposed to be loving me? Listen, the NFL they really need to get their act together. They really do. Stick to what everybody loves, football. Stick to that. I've said it for the longest time. Keep politics out of sports. And some people would like to make the argument the other way, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Because why are you going to keep, again, pushing a product that we see it on the jerseys, we see it on the hats, right? That's why I went off 2 weeks ago for the same reason. Just, if you're going to make something different for the season, okay, make something different that the fans want to purchase, not the messages that you're trying to make people to purchase. And those sales have even tanked because they haven't learned.
Yeah, they're doing 2 national anthems at the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
The national anthem and the Black national anthem. So
yeah. Reba's gonna lead it. It's just, listen. One of these days we'll wake up and we'll figure out this was just a dream. No matter which way you look at it. One day, I don't know what day it is, but one of these days we'll wake up and find out, the dream that it is. And as quick as we start the show, and I apologize for any audio issues that we had in the very beginning. It is Friday. Sometimes things happen on a Friday. It's just the way it works, how it operates. But it is Friday, nonetheless, 6:25 here on the East Coast in Tampa, Florida. Of course, our lovely headquarters is down there in Cables, i.e. Fort Myers, where Pete just let us know it's 71 degrees. But this is something different that no one else is doing. So I'm fortunate enough to be here in the home studios of Tampa. Dave out there in the, I don't know, what do you want to call it? The
Midwest.
Cold? Yeah.
It's a frozen tundra right now.
Yep. Layoffs. Yep.
That's good, AJ. That was good.
Cologne by SI. Yeah, exactly. Oh, my God. And by the way, if you guys missed it yesterday, the first half hour of the show, Dave, I don't know if you were listening or not yesterday, I still have to cut up the clip and put it out there. The bombshell that happened yesterday, as we're going into different kind of stories in the very beginning, and then we end up going into Snoop Dogg, and then I talked about how Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg are obviously the kind of like the best of friends now. So here comes Rich, and Rich says, "Wait, I got breaking news." And I thought there was like something as far as in the comments, so I'm waiting for him. So I hit the breaking news sounder, and he goes, "I do her." And he was talking about Martha Stewart. I never laughed so hard in my life.
That's great.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. So I'm going to cut it up over the weekend. You guys will be able to see the clip in here, and then you can go back and, of course, watch the show. And not only that, you guys can also go back wherever you get your favorite audio, whether it be an iHeart or Apple or, Google, no matter where you get it from, all the shows on the Tony Bruno Sports Network lineup, all of them can be replayed wherever you get your favorite downloads from. So don't forget that. If you're an iHeart fan and you get your, your audio downloads from iHeart, no problem. Look it up and it'll be there because it's just gratifying for us. We have fun with it. We love what we do. And that's why this network continues to get bigger and better. As I said before, I'm completely honored being here. It's a lot of fun. And I'm beyond happy that I've been a fan of Tony Bruno and Ms. Robin for many years. And now I get to work for a network. And it's giddy every day. When the mic goes on, it's so much fun. I enjoy it, especially now with the addition of Dave and Jim. And, like I said, Pete, I've gotten to know Pete so well that it's been great. Defo and Luby the same way. I've still yet to call into the show. I got close today. But unfortunately, one of my customers decided to kind of just do their thing and ask me about other merchandise that we sell. And I was like, all right. So I ended up missing out. But nonetheless, it is 6:28 quickly here at the bottom of the hour. Coming up, I already see it. The best commercial that I enjoy. It's hopefully it'll come in today. Yesterday I missed out on it. But the best commercial that I appreciate with Miss Robin loading up here is a commercial come through. So don't forget, call us here at the Tony Bruno Sports Network, Martinez Company at 844-644-TONY, 844-644-8669. Also, make your comments out here on the social medias. And by the way, let Tony and Miss Robin know how we're doing. How's everything going? How you guys like it? How you guys like the entire network? Feedback is always a great thing, and we appreciate it. AJ in San Antonio, once again, Stephen Luker, thank you guys for letting me know in the very beginning how things weren't working out well. So after the break, we'll get into what there's a missing piece, I guess, from the legend of Patrick Mahomes. What it is, I have no idea, but I guess we'll find out. Also, apparently, they want the Cliff Kingsbury possibly to be hired by the Bears. I think it would be a ridiculous move, but, what am I? I had no idea. I just offer my opinions. So after the break, we'll get into that and more. It's Angel Martinez, Real Delco Dave, here at Martinez Company on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
I got a break.
You're listening to Martinez and Company
That's right.
on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Do you have feelings of inadequacy? Do you suffer from shyness? Do you sometimes wish you were more assertive? If you answered yes to any of these questions, ask your doctor or pharmacist about tequila. Tequila is the safe, natural way to feel better and more confident about yourself and your actions. Tequila can help ease you out of your shyness and let you tell the world that you're ready and willing to do just about anything. You'll notice the benefits of tequila almost immediately, and with a regimen of regular doses, you can overcome any obstacles that prevent you from living the life you want to live. Shyness and awkwardness will be a thing of the past, and you'll discover many talents you never knew you had. Stop hiding and start living with tequila. Tequila may not be right for everyone. Women who are pregnant or nursing should not use tequila. However, women who wouldn't mind nursing or becoming pregnant are encouraged to try it. Side effects may include dizziness, nausea, vomiting, incarceration, erotic lustfulness, loss of motor control, loss of clothing, loss of money, loss of virginity, delusions of grandeur, table dancing, headache, dehydration, dry mouth, and a desire to sing karaoke and play all-night rounds of strip poker, truth or dare, and naked twister. Warning, the consumption of alcohol may make you think you're whispering when you're not, is a major factor in dancing like a retard, may cause you to tell your friends over and over again that you're in love with them, also may cause you to think you can sing. Alcohol may lead you to believe that ex-lovers are really dying for you to telephone them at 4 a.m. Warning: alcohol may make you think you can logically converse with members of the opposite sex without spitting. It may create the illusion that you are tougher, smarter, faster, and better looking than most people. And it may lead you to think people are laughing with you. Alcohol may cause pregnancy, and it also may be a major factor in getting your ass kicked. So what are you waiting for? Stop hiding and start living with tequila.
When you're looking for a treat to freshen taste and keep breath sweet, get double smoothness, flavor too. Get the gum that's double good to chew.
Double your pleasure, double your fun with double mint gum.
Hello, boys and girls. It's me, the Frito Bandito. You know what I heard about you? I heard you want to be a Frito Bandito like me. You too? Then you must sing the Bandito song. Let's sing together. You just follow the bouncing Fritos corn chips bag. Ay, 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 ay. I am the Frito Bandito. Hey, I like Fritos corn chips. I love them, I do. I want Fritos corn chips. I'll get them from you. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, I am the Frito Bandito. Give me Fritos corn chips and I'll be your friend. The Frito Bandito, you must not offend. Now, boys and girls, you are Frito Banditos too. You sing the Frito Bandito song, and you loco for crunchy Fritos corn chips. That's nice. Munch, munch, munchy bunchy Fritos corn chips. Munch, munchy bunchy Fritos.
Another public service announcement from Brill Cream. Men, beware. Use one dab of Brill Cream. Just a little dab makes your hair look excitingly clean, disturbingly healthy. This man dared to use 2 dabs. Now he's in trouble. We refuse to be responsible.
Brill cream, Brill cream, Brill cream, Brill cream, a little dab will do ya. Brill cream, you look so debonair. Brill cream, the gals will all pursue ya. They'll love to get their fingers in your hair.
You worked too hard, you ate too much, the cheesecake made you greedy. Let your aching head and stomach hear this message from old Speedy. Alka-Seltzer, plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz, oh, what a relief it is. Ah, those Speedy Alka-Seltzer bubbles burst into action to relieve your upset stomach and aching head fast. Use only as directed. Oh, what a relief it is. What a relief.
Now, back to Martinez and Company
It's always playing in my car.
on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Bésame, que quiero sentir tus labios besándome otra vez. Suavemente, bésame, que quiero sentir tus labios besándome otra vez. Suave, bésame, bésame, suave, bésame otra vez. Suave. Yo quiero sentir tus labios besándome otra vez. Suave. Besa, besa, bésame un poquito. Suave. Besa, 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 bésame otro ratito. Pequeña, échate pa' acá.
Y como siempre, cuando venimos para atrás del primer break, estando con ustedes esta noche siempre es bueno. Estando con la familia, con mi gente, con el sabor de los españoles. Muchas gracias a ustedes viniendo para atrás aquí con Ángel Martínez, con Dave. Esta noche en Martinez Company aquí en el Tony Bruno Sports Network. Y si ustedes quieren llamarle el show, lo pueden hacer el 844-644-TONY, 844-644-8669. Y no se olviden que pueden enviar el app en el Tony Bruno Sports Network, en el Google o el Apple Store. Así para que puedan ir para la tienda, pueden ir para cualquier sitio, siempre estando con nosotros, escuchando el show cada noche, al lunes, al viernes, de 6 a 8 de la noche. Y gracias por ustedes estar con nosotros siempre. Me encanta que siempre estén aquí con nosotros. Y as always, as I always say here, we come back from the break here at the bottom of the hour. Thank you to my Latin friends out there who listen and download the apps. Thank you for welcoming back and coming back. Martinez Company, I am Angel Martinez. He is Real Uncle Dave here on a Friday night with you guys from 6 to 8 p.m. And if you guys would like to call and or text into the show, you can do so at 844-644-TONY, 844-644-8669. One of these days, I know that someone's going to hit the number 2 or number 1 on the phone and be like, it's not working. That's because you have to just listen, and then it will work. So a couple of interesting stories that came out. One, before we get into Patrick Mahomes and other stories, is which you never know, Dave, things that end up happening. But apparently, a New York City musician throws joint baby shower for all 5 women he got pregnant. And it's not a made-up story. The more, the merrier. The New York City musician Zeddy Will, 22 years old, recently hosted a joint baby shower for his 5 pregnant baby mamas. One of his partners, Lizzie Ashley, claimed on TikTok. Ashley, 29, revealed the starting achievement by showing off the party invitations, which showed the shower being hosted in Queens on January 14th, which obviously already had passed. The moms-to-be and Will posted for a joint photo on the invitation, which said, quote, "Welcome little Zeddy Willis, 1 through 5. I guess we are sister wives now," Ashley captioned the video, referring to the popular TLC show that follows the lives of the polygamous family. Holy craps. And then the picture is up there, which is absolutely insane. And I'm trying to remember. I'm going to have to, at one point, I'll have to forward you the picture. There's 2 people. I can't remember I'm trying to remember the resemblance from the actress, but it was like back in the day. But all 5 of them and him are there. I'm like, Jesus. You've heard of like stories, obviously, with what's his name, with Kemp out there with the Seattle Supersonics that had, I don't know, it's like 25 kids or 26 kids, some ridiculous, I think, and still counting, if I remember correctly. But was it Sean Kemp? Huh?
Tyreek Hill he's getting married and has 2 baby mamas outside of that right now as well that like are pregnant.
Listen, I swear, I don't understand what makes people think. Like, listen, we know there's groupies everywhere, right? They're in sports, especially in music. Music, everybody knows there's tons of it. It's just how do you put yourself through something like that, knowing that you're not, unless you're looking for child support, I have no idea. But it doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you want to put yourself through that ridiculous nonsense? And then people talk about you, and then you get upset because they're talking about you. Like, what do you expect? He's... I don't know. I don't want to say anything to get myself into trouble, but who the hell knows? By the way, AJ Lopez says, I'd be offended if Frito the Bandito ad if he didn't sound like me after drinking tequila. And then he says, breaking news, Kemp just had number 26. Oops, now number 27. It's insane. I swear. Well, what was the other show on TLC? Was it the family that kept growing, the kids?
The Duggan family or John and Kate plus 8? Which one?
No, they stopped after 8. And then they became boring and he moved on from them. No, is it something in counting? What was it? The producer just yelled from the other studio. But I think it's like 29 and counting or 30 and counting or something like that. All I know is like it's just it extended. Of course, now the kids who had that had kids now have kids. So now they're becoming like grandparents or soon to be great grandparents. It's insane. I don't know how people do it. I swear.
That's wild.
It is. So I just thought it was an interesting story about this. I swear, and how do all these girls, like, what do you expect? He's 22 years old and they all vary in age. What makes it even worse? But you really have the audacity to get everybody together in the same place to say, yep, that's baby number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Baby number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, good on him, man. That's a lot of charisma and confidence right there. That's good on him, man. Yeah, so we were talking Falcons head coaching before the show, and it sounds like they don't just have a second interview lined up with Belichick; they got a second one lined up with Harbaugh too. So they're definitely covering all their bases. But I feel like they're definitely going to go for a big name. The Art Smith experiment failed. They have a ton of young pieces, an above-average offensive line. Some consider the top 10 offensive line going into last season. To getting a veteran coach like that, I think is a good move for Atlanta.
So if that being the case, do we believe then that obviously I think Atlanta's going to make the bigger push for Belichick? That's what it seems like because they had a big caption earlier during the week that they put out there on Twitter or X or however they want to call it. I think it's going to revert back to Twitter. Everybody keeps calling it Twitter. No one's calling it X. I don't even call it X. It's always been Twitter. But anyways, to me, it's good. They have to. You would think if you're going to bring your fan base back in. And maybe some fans are not, fond of Belichick because obviously that's where he got busted finally for cheating when he went to practice and he told his camera crew, to be out there and just be on alert. And then somebody comes by from security and says, hey, what are you guys doing? Nothing. We're not recording anything. Quick, destroy the tape. I mean, come on. You knew what was coming, but I think Atlanta has to be ready for Belichick to come in and take complete control, just like he did with New England. New England tried to get some of that control back, but listen, everybody knows when you give someone too much control, it's hard to take it back. Even though you run the organization, it is your organization, but it's hard to get it back. So it would make sense, I think, if Atlanta's looking to really make that splash and do well in the NFC South, then you got to. I would go with Belichick, because to me, either Harbaugh's going to go back to Michigan, which I think that would give him a bigger payday, number one, or he goes to San Diego or LA Chargers, whatever they call themselves anymore, LA Chargers, I guess. But it seems like, to me, I think the Chargers really liked him, really enjoyed, obviously, him being there. So I guess it being your choice, Dave, you being Harbaugh, LA lifestyle or the Atlanta lifestyle?
I mean, I think both are warmer and better than Michigan. I think the bigger thing, I think there's two moves that are kind of tied in, and they're going to determine. It's going to come down to the quarterback in Atlanta. I think the Kingsbury hire in Chicago puts Justin Fields on the trade block. I think Belichick would want to trade for Fields because he's not going to have a long shelf life. He's going to do 5 years, I think, tops. So he's going to want a quarterback that he can win with now. Fields has a ton of potential. He hasn't reached it yet, but with proper coaching, he's never had a real coaching staff. So Belichick can put together a good coaching staff, something to bring out the best in him with all those weapons. I think if Harbaugh went to Atlanta, he'd want to bring his own guy in. I could see him trying to get McCarthy in the second round.
Well,
I think both of those things are tied together. Kingsbury gets hired in Chicago. Fields goes on the block. If Atlanta hires Belichick, I think they make a move to get Justin Fields in Atlanta. If they bring in Harbaugh, they're going to go for McCarthy.
Now, for those who thought, obviously, now Kingsbury, I mean, say what we wanted to say with the Eagles the year before with Kingsbury, then obviously gets hired by Arizona. Obviously, they didn't think he was good enough to be able to continue head coaching. So there's your let go there. But to me, I'm still not sold on Kyler Murray still being the starting quarterback for Arizona. I know Rich and I talked about it briefly last night. I just don't think he really has what it takes anymore to be an NFL starting quarterback. And I think Arizona truthfully needs to move on from Kyler Murray because nothing improved this year. I mean, you can talk about the head coach all you want to, obviously the same way with coordinators, but you as the individual should be learning and growing even more. But after the whole thing last year during the offseason, when he took away all of his social medias and basically shunned Arizona, then when he comes back to practice, I don't know, this young man, God bless him, but comes back with a halter top to practice. And that's the first photos that we saw after all that debacle and everything else in Arizona. But to me, I just don't think he's really a starting quarterback anymore in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, he had to come back from the ACL. I think he won over some people in the organization. The way rehab came back, and even though it was a dead season, still got on the field and wanted to play. So that is interesting. With that contract and what he did this year coming back from the injury, he's probably got himself at least one more season. But yeah, he's definitely somebody that's, running out of chances to prove himself for sure. Same with Fields. I think Fields is running out of chances to prove himself as well. I think the Kingsbury move in Chicago is going to be a way to persuade Caleb Williams to want to come there because Williams doesn't want to play in Chicago right now. So if they bring in Kingsbury, a guy that he just played for in his college career, I think it's a move to convince Williams to come play for Chicago. So the musical chairs of head coaching and coordinators is going to be interesting. I think I like what the Raiders did in bringing on Antonio Pierce full time. That was the right hire for them. He won that locker room over. He had them playing hard even when the season was over. So that was a good hire there. It's going to be a lot of turmoil right now. I think the Pierce hire convinced Devontae Adams to stick around.
I think so too. But it makes you wonder though why they didn't do it earlier. Like I would think as soon as the season was over, because come on, he did turn his team around. The guys obviously love and respect him. He played football. He knows football. So why not? I think that the minute the clock hit zero, and obviously the Raiders knew they were going into the playoffs, that conversation should have been had right then and there. But I understand because obviously, you have to put figures together, talk to the agents, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff's got to go on.
Yeah, it was just due diligence, I think. They were just doing due diligence. That's all. So I think they kind of knew he was their guy already. They're just like, hey, we're not going to make an irrational decision. Let's play out the season. Let's gather ourselves. Let's, make sure we do some due diligence, do our research. Yep, we think he's the guy. Now we know he's the guy. Hire him.
Now, let me ask you this question. Do you think that Mike Vrabel would be a great hire for Seattle?
I think Mike Vrabel would be a great hire for anybody that needs a head coach. I actually expect him to stay in Tennessee. He is the most shocking free agent head coach right now, I think. If the Eagles weren't keeping Sirianni, which I actually agree that it was a good move, and I can get into that in a minute, but I would have liked to see Vrabel in the midnight green. So anybody that wants to hire Vrabel, I think it'd be a good move for them. He relates to players. Every player that's worked under him has said that he is a leader of men and a great coach.
Yep. We got a message here from Isabel Tuar Gonzalez. Thank you, first of all, for tuning in. Do appreciate it. She says, really great to see the Raiders seeing the impact Antonio had on the locker room and moving him up like that. Listen, Isabel, I agree, which is, by the way, my daughter's name as well. So, Isabel, I agree completely. I mean, there's no way. How could you go away from Antonio Pierce knowing that I didn't, so obviously seeing what the Raiders were going through, right? And the players are up and down. Everybody tried to do their best with what they had. But Antonio Pierce comes in and literally shakes Vegas up to the point where these guys are now being talked to in the right way. That they're, finally here come the Raiders, and it seems like I know they're in Vegas, but Antonio Pierce brought the Oakland Raiders back to LA or to Las Vegas for the most part. And there's no way in the world you could have gone anywhere else, without him, at least in my opinion. So I think for the guys, I'm pretty sure, I don't think the pressers happened yet. I think it's going to happen either over the weekend or Monday, one or the two. It'd be interesting to see what he has to say. Also be interesting to see if he actually, gets new coordinators, because he has the opportunity of either keeping the guys that he has, well, depending on what the GM says as well, but either getting his own guys, or does he steal a couple that he knows from other teams and brings them over? Because that's usually the first thing, is that once they become a head coach, they see the people they worked with before, and they think either A, they're still a good hire, or B, we need to make some changes. But I think with what the Raiders had at the moment, I would think it would be fine, but I could be wrong. Isabel, I don't know if you want to add to that comment as well, but I would think right now, Dave, what the Raiders have without making too many moves, I think they're still lined up great for 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to figure out the quarterback position. Most teams that didn't make the playoffs have quarterback questions, so that's per the usual. But yeah, absolutely. Pierce is the right man for the job. They have a veteran roster with guys that want to play, that are good, proven leaders. The infrastructure's there. So yeah, get the coordinator right, get the quarterback right, and they can compete. They can turn around and be in the playoffs next year. Absolutely. That wouldn't shock me at all to see them be a wild card team. I don't think they'll push for the division, because they do play in the division with the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's going to be difficult. But, Denver's not a threat. LA is the Chargers are perennially hurt and underachieving all the time. So the Raiders finishing number 2 in the AFC West and wild card is well within reason under Pierce next season.
So now, are we also looking at a brand new starting quarterback for Vegas?
I would. I don't think O'Connell showed enough. I think Jimmy G's done. I think Pierce should go get his guy, whatever it takes this year to do that, whether that's bringing in a veteran, trading for somebody, signing a free agent, or trying to get somebody in the draft, whether that's trade up in the draft. But I think Pierce should go get his guy, get his coordinator in place, make sure he knows what offense he wants to run, and they should focus on getting their quarterback position right. That should be their move. I think Garoppolo's gone. I don't think O'Connell's the answer, so go get your guy. So you figure what, Jaden's the number 1 pick because Heisman winner, so he would be going, to the Patriots, if the Patriots still decide to go with him? Yeah, I mean, I think, what is the draft is? Patriots are number 1 overall, right? I believe so. I believe they ended up locking up the number 1 spot. Yeah, so I mean, Drake May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, there's a bunch of them that are on there. So honestly, I feel like the quarterback race is going to tighten up, and there's probably going to be a tier, like specific tier of 2 or 3 guys. So I think the Bears want Caleb Williams, and they're going to do what they can to get him. After that, though, who knows? I mean, a lot of people have been hyping up Drake May. Daniels won the Heisman, like you said. So there's a lot there. Some of the stuff I read about McCarthy, he could sneak into the back of the first round or early second round. Right. So quarterback's always a high priority, high value position. So it'll be interesting to see who Las Vegas can go after, but they should definitely be prioritizing getting their guy, whatever it takes. All right. Isabel follows up with, and she says, give me a second here as it comes up. Isabel says that absolutely some changes need to be made, but he won over that locker room after McDaniels acted the way he did. Players will gladly follow his game plan on either side of the ball. And very good point there. Very good point. Especially you have now
Yeah, what makes that I think more interesting too, because you have TB12 as the minority owner and partial owner, however else they want to call it there, which obviously he has great insight as well. So it makes it more interesting that he works with peers to see who exactly they want to draft as a QB. I think and I could be wrong, but depending where the Raiders end up falling in the as far as the picks, I'm wondering if you do get Jaden Daniels, and then how much would you have to give up for him? Because obviously, I think he would do well with the Patriots. Again, if that's the route that Jerod Mayo wants to go, which obviously he's going to have to pick up a quarterback, no matter which way you look at it. So if not, I'm really curious to see how much influence TB12 with talking, and he's not going to obviously put a lot of say so making choices for Antonio Pierce. But I think for me, you're helping him out as much as you can, and having a star elite QB, I would think you want to listen to a lot what he has to say.
Oh yeah, I feel like you should definitely sit down and listen to what. Good afternoon, Joey B. Appreciate you, bro. Sit down and listen to what Brady has to say. Obviously.
Yep. Joey B, what's up? It was a fun night last night. Thank you for coming back once again, Isabel. Thank you as well for the comment. Joey B says, Delco Dave, let's get hammered. When I'm in Lincoln, Nebraska for a college football game, I'm coming straight for your restaurant. And then follows it up with
Joey B, come through, man.
Delco Dave is like Rich Quinones, lumberjack beard. We need an axe in the background. It'll happen. One of these shows that end up happening. By the way, for those who want to know, Rich Quinones is calling a fight tonight. Obviously, he had a lot of fun last week with Roy Jones Jr. So that's why he is off tonight. He is calling, I think it was three fights tonight. I believe 2 on the East Coast, 1 on the West Coast, and he's got multiple fights to call for tomorrow. So that's where Rich is. He'll be back on Monday, unless he's going to end up calling for another one. Excuse me. Joey B says, Delco Dave, any thoughts on Martha Stewart? Would or would not?
I'm happily married, man. It's a pass on everybody. My wife listens to the show, so.
As Joey B's referring to last night, I'm telling you, you got to watch. If you guys missed it, just watch the first half hour of yesterday's show. It was, oh my God, that was probably the most classic show of all time right now with Martinez and Company. In the history, we've been together since October 30th, but it was just hysterical. I couldn't stop laughing. Even after the show, I still had to laugh because he was, as Joey B says, Quinones, #wood. Oh, it was just great. Mickey, what's going on? Except for Mickey, it's not Rich, it's Delco Dave, Mickey, but I get it. Delco Dave, #would not. That is correct.
Accurate.
Now, here's the other thing. So, and I'm going to bring up this question. Man, I can't believe how quick the show's going by. It's already 6:53. But last night, Rich made a point, and he said, take away you being married right now, okay? So this just in a hypothetical world.
All right.
He said, who would be your go-to as far as like an actress? I mean, they're all called actors. We get it, but for the women, it's the actress. Actress, singer, dancer. Who would be like your ultimate one that you want to be with?
Kristen Bell, hands down. I've had a crush on her since she was Veronica Mars back on the WB and CW.
That's a good pick. Both him and I both picked Selma Hayek.
No, it's a great one.
Yeah.
What was the Tarantino movie where she was the tequila scene where she's pouring the tequila down her leg? In the
Wait, yeah. My producer's listening in the other room. She'll come in. She'll tell me. Was it something? Daggone it. What was it? Something.
That was an iconic scene. Apparently, Tarantino wrote himself into that scene for that because of his whole foot fetish thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a whole thing about that like he wrote that specific scene for himself because of that.
But I didn't hear my producer said something, I missed it. But Joey B, Delco Dave, and Kristen Bell, nice call there, Dave. Yeah, I'm not going to argue. It is. And Joey B says, Deb in the other room, going to pull plug on this segment. Nah, not at all. Mickey says, sorry, Dave. Tell the other person to the right to put the name up. It is up there, Slick. Mickey,
no.
Are you drinking tonight?
No, it does
wait
say
a minute.
Rich.
Hold on.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, my apologies, Mickey. That was on me. Sorry. I forgot to switch cameras, and I forgot to switch names. So there you go. Now it's Delco Dave. And then Joey B says, Deb going to go throw a teacup at Angel now. No, listen, I'm not worried about my lady. She knows she's hot. I got absolutely nothing to worry about. I would not trade her for Selma Hayek. Even if Selma Hayek herself came in the door and said, I'm available. Oh, sorry, I'm not. So no way. Nope. My lady's the freaking best. The best. I everything about her is just the best, period. So I'll just leave it there. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Isabel got it. There it is.
Yep. From Dusk Till Dawn. That is such a good movie. Such a good movie. Thank you, Isabel, for putting the comments. No, I'm not on weed, Mickey. Goodness gracious. I'm not. Listen, I had to change camera scenes because obviously Delco Dave was filling in for Rich Quinones, so I just forgot to bring the name tile up there as we always do here on a Friday night. But no, From Dusk Till Dawn, that was a great movie. There was another one too. Rich named the second one that she was in. I'll have to think about it. It's one or the two.
Yeah, back to the draft real quick, though. So the Bears do have the first overall pick, and I think they're going to go Caleb Williams. New England ended up at 3rd.
Oh.
Yeah. But I do think it goes quarterback, because it's Chicago, Washington, New England. So it's going to be some combination of Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels. Because all three of those teams need quarterbacks. So if Pierce wants to go get one of those three, he's going to have to trade up. And I think he's back. They're at 12th, I think. I'll scroll down here. They're at 13. So if he wants one, he's going to have to pay a price, go up there and get him, or he's got to sit back and see who comes to him. Again, that's where McCarthy might come into play in the top of the second round.
It will be. But you know what? In the next, they said the next 3 minus this year, the next 2 seasons, they said there's plenty of quarterbacks that are coming out of college that are just one is just as good as the other one. So I would think if you're Pierce, and let's just say you all right, now I'm trying to think what seasoned veteran, obviously other than Joe Flacco, which I just don't see the Raiders picking him up, but who else could the Raiders pick if, let's just say they wouldn't, they have other obviously places to fill in on defense, offense, special teams, but who could they possibly pick for a rental on a 1-year basis, maybe someone who's trying to be comeback player of the year, and then next year, if the QB is not available, or you get lucky, you get a dark horse like Brock Purdy. But let's just say if they pass on the first 3 because they come right off the board, Michael Penix, I know he's out there, good quarterback. The only problem is he comes with injury risk, so you would have to have that in the clause there. But I can't remember right now what seasoned veteran quarterback is out there. I mean, I think Russell Westbrook is, but I don't see the Raiders picking him up either. But if you're trying to go cheap, no, because you have to absorb that contract too.
I mean, they could also try to do something where, pick up a backup with high upside. You think of something like Tampa Bay, right? Baker's won that team over. He won the division, won a playoff game. He's probably going to get signed to a Geno Smith type extension. So Kyle Trask has a ton of upside, and people thought that he was going to compete with Baker for the job, and Baker just happened to win it out. They could go cheap, probably try to, I think Trask was a 5th-round pick. They could try to, send a 3rd-round pick to Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay, comes up a little bit, gets that 3rd-round pick. And that's a cheap option with a young guy that had a ton of upside if they did want to wait, if they don't think they can get one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft. So that's a way to go. And there's always guys like that around the league. And at the top of my head, I can't think of anybody more than Trask. But that's one way to go if you want to go cheap. Get that young backup that has the athletic profile that just hasn't had a shot yet. So there's that. I don't know. As far as a veteran, somebody that's already done it, I don't know who you'd have out there that you could go for. Not off the top of my head. I could do a little bit of research and dig into it. But, I guess they could try to do a reclamation project with Mac Jones. I bet the new coaching – I'm assuming Mayo's going to want his own guy. So you could try to get Mac Jones, somebody with a first-round pedigree right there. So he'll have options. But, solving that quarterback problem is going to be his number one issue after he gets his coaching staff in place.
I think so. But there is a bunch of folks that are, I don't know, again, it's going to be a lot to be discussed. I think, like I said right now, for Pierce, the lucky part for him is that he does have TB12 out there. And I think he would he's obviously going to set him up for success. I don't see him set him up for failure whatsoever. So I'm just going to say he's very, very lucky that he has him there. Let's see. Joey B says, love when Delco Dave is on the show. That Delco accent is incredible. Love it. I pretty much have lost mine. Only being on here for a little bit now. Then it says people in Lincoln need a translator. We're talking with Delco Dave.
I appreciate it, Joey B, man. It's funny. That actually does happen. People ask me questions about the cheesesteaks and stuff like that. And I start talking too fast. And like, hold on. I'm texting my mom back home. I want to tell her what you're saying. Slow down for me.
That's what it is. It's the same way. When I work for the district down here, of course, I no longer work for them anymore, but it was the same way. It's like, can you slow down for what? Is it you're talking too fast? Oh, I'm sorry. What would you like me to say? Like, you guys got to keep up. Northeast, everything happens fast and furious. That's just the way it is. And so anywhere you go in America, they're like, where the hell are you from? Philly. So you're welcome. All right. After the break, we'll get into Josh Hader also. Man, the Astros, they're looking to lock up another World Series. They're only 1 year separated from it, but they're already looking forward. And also, Dusty Baker, who had retired, he pops up in a familiar place. We'll get into that after the break. Also, the Patrick Mahomes, the missing piece from Net Legend, and other things as well. This one will be a quick break. There is no commercials from what I understand on the top of the hour, so we might be right back here as well. But don't forget, starting Monday morning, throughout the weekend, you guys can always hear the best of. And by the way, the best of is always loaded with fun stuff. Absolutely fun stuff. Isabel Gonzalez says, great show, guys. First-time viewer, loving all this. Thank you, Isabel. We appreciate it. Keep coming back. We do appreciate it. Not too many ladies pop in here. They do, but they may not say much. Let me put it that way. But we do appreciate the ladies, so by all means, please come back. We appreciate you tuning in for the first time. Absolutely love it. Coming back Monday morning will be Pete Shepard on the Pete Shepard Show. Always doing a fantastic job. And Dave, I don't know if you get to hear Pete in the morning. I'm telling you, the guest that he has loaded, what he has it's like he has just 2 6-shooters on either side and just pulls them up and he empties the chamber by the time it's all done. So he does such a fantastic job in the morning from 7 to 10. Then Defo and Luby. Yesterday had a great guest. Today, another round of loaded guests. They had a real fun time today. The more I hear those guys, the more I appreciate them, the more I understand them. And it's always a great time with Defo and Luby from 10 to 12. Then the best stuff from 12 to 1 or the lunchtime hour, whichever way you want to call it. And then from 1 to 3 p.m., the newest show, one of the becoming the top phenom shows, I guess, here on the Tony Bruno Sports Network. We all are, but we like when we add someone new. It is Dave Benz, Jim Cosymore, soon Jess Taylor, and Ed Matt Fowler, the producer for LFG from 1 to 3. Tony Bruno, Miss Robin from 3 to 6 on the Tony Bruno Show. And, of course, myself, usually Rich Quinones, but Real Duncan Dave always with us here on a Friday night. Martinez Company from 6 to 8 p.m. And then Monday through Thursday, it is AJ Johnson with the Bleacher Brothers. But AJ is out there in Vegas scouting out some areas to be able to hang out for Radio Row. So when we come back, we'll get into it more. Don't forget, the lines are open, 844-644-TONY, 844-644-8669. It is Martinez Company on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting, and now it's here. TBSN, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Make some noise!
Tune in at 7 a.m. and hear Pete Shepard till 10. And then Defo and Luby from 10 a.m. till noon. And then the man himself, Tony Bruno, and the Tony Bruno Show starts at 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Martinez and Company from 6 p.m. to 8. And we've got more to come. The Tony Bruno Sports Network. Download the app. Tell your friends the game is on. TBSN.
Martinez Company. I am Angel Martinez. He is Real Duncle Dave, and we thank you for tuning in Monday through Friday to the Martinez Company show right here on the Tony Bruno Sports Network. And as you guys know, if you're first time like Isabel, Friday nights I usually like to let the music clip go a little bit longer because it's always a dance party on Fridays. So one of these songs, as always, is one of my favorites, and I'll bring it up a little bit later on. But just like in the morning, Dave, I'll tell you this much. In a warehouse in the morning, because I'm there at 4:50 in the morning, I dance like an absolute lunatic because it's only me. So I crank up Alexa and I just go to town because it's to have the energy to be able to not only to be up at 3:30 in the morning, yet alone to be at work at 4:50, come home around 4:30, 5 o'clock, quick lunch or dinner, whatever you want to call it, come back on air, and then still do my other shows on the Broad Street South Side. You have to dance like a fool in order to keep the energy going. So it's plus, if you want to be here on the network, it's nothing but high energy on the Tony Bruno Sports Network. Mickey says, I think Dave should take Rich's spot. Rich can come out of the bullpen. Oh boy. Boy, Mickey. Oh, is Rich going to put you out on timeout on Monday? Mickey.
Bro.
Oh, Mickey, don't worry. Listen, Rich is listening to the show, even though he's about to call a boxing match. He is listening to the show. Speaking of shows, don't forget, Tony and Miss Robin are on right now on Into the Night on the No Filter Network. You guys can have us on the app, and if you guys want to watch over on No Filter Network, Tony and Miss Robin, as they start the party drinking festival. They haven't done it in, wow, has it been almost close to a month now because they were sick for 2 weeks? Yeah, almost a month. So I'm pretty sure everybody's loving that they're on Into the Night, which, you know, they get a little more loose on Into the Night. There's a lot more stuff that goes on, and there's a video feed that goes along with it. So you guys want to check it out? As always, because I love Tony Bruno, I don't take away the viewers from us or the listeners, but everybody loves the Tony Bruno Into the Night. So just to let you guys know, that's on from 7 to 9 p.m. this evening. Now, getting into a couple of things. This I thought was kind of, I don't know, kind of okay and kind of like not okay when it comes to the story, but missing on Patrick Mahomes' already legendary career, a road playoff win. Now, that shouldn't be a shocking surprise to anybody, but there isn't much that Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes has left to accomplish in his career. 2 Super Bowl titles, Super Bowl MVPs, Offensive Player of the Year, 5 straight AFC Championship games. He really has the whole NFL quarterback thing figured out. The only thing missing from the legend of Mahomes is something that he has been too prolific to experience yet, a road playoff game. For the first time in his career, Mahomes will travel for a postseason game that's not the Super Bowl, an incredible run for a quarterback who already has 15 playoff games under his belt. So, of course, everybody knows it will be a test, battle tested. And by the way, the Bills organization was looking for more folks to go out and dig out from the snow. Buffalo has gotten some major snow effects. So now they're looking for people to go out there and dig out the stadium. But yeah, it's interesting where you take Patrick Mahomes out of Geha Stadium, and now you take him out there to Buffalo, and you hope he pulls off the win. Kansas City was not playing too hot on the second half of the season. Last week they pulled together off the win, which even Miami hung in there. And people talked about how bad the cold was going to be. The only thing that I find interesting is what's going to happen when the NFL, because you got 5 players on both teams, both Miami and Kansas City, who ended up getting frostbite, including 15 people that apparently that were evacuated from the stadium. Because listen, Dave, as again, I just talked about at the top of the show about making choices. You got to be smart. If you know it's going to be like negative 29 with the winds and everything else, are you really that much of a diehard fan that you would risk yourself to, expose your skin to frostbite? Because you're only going to stay warm for so long. And then they had like warming spots, from what I was told, out there in the stadium, but only at halftime. So if you were freezing all that time, why would you want to go to a heating spot knowing that you're going to defrost, but the minute you go back to the seats, everything that you just defrosted is going to freeze over all over again? We saw that with, Andy Reid on his mustache. But I wonder if the NFL now will change it because of these players getting frostbite.
Yeah, well, did you see the Dolphins fan that was shown on camera, on television, shirtless at that KC game? He's in the hospital with hypothermia, which is wild, man. Like, he's he was obviously out there crazy supporting his team and all that stuff like that. Yeah, but I saw it today that he has hypothermia, and at least he was in the hospital. I guess I don't know if he still is. But as far as the game in Buffalo goes, I think there's a ton more pressure on Josh Allen and the Bills than there is on Kansas City. Listen, Casey and Mahomes have nothing to prove, right?
Right.
If he doesn't win another playoff game ever again, he's still going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Like him and Andy Reid, they've already done it. So they've been through this before. Obviously, they haven't done a road game before, but it's not like they haven't played on the road. You play road games every year, right? So I don't think there's any pressure on Mahomes or Reid to get it done. They're defending Super Bowl champs. They had to come in. They're playing all 3 rounds of the playoffs this year. Buffalo needs to get past the Kansas City hurdle. They have to do it. The Super Bowl window in Buffalo is starting to close a little bit. This is probably their last good run with the core they have right now before they got to start, do a reset. You see, teams do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Josh Allen, Sean McDermott, and that Bills team needs this win more than anybody else in the second round right now.
I think so. Because again, you got to really start questioning Josh Allen. Can he do it, or is he getting in the same conversation now as Dak Prescott, where obviously he can't win a playoff game? I mean, you did so well, and obviously you made a supercharge trying to get toe-to-toe with obviously the Eagles, who end up tanking, and then you have San Fran, who's looking to host and beat Green Bay. But it'd be interesting to see. And I forget the lady's name who was on with Dave and Jim earlier today, but she talked about how, and it made sense, how Green Bay would try and be like a jumpstart team where they can go ahead and get ahead, because apparently that's what San Fran is, and then they have problems falling behind. And I think she mentioned also that Shanahan was like 0 for 38 when they're 8 points from behind, which I found it really interesting that because I didn't even know it. Honestly, until she mentioned it, I had not a clue.
I mean, I want to say there's no way that Green Bay beats San Francisco, but I also said there was no way Green Bay would beat Dallas in Dallas. So this team is the definition of getting hot and figuring it out at the right time. I saw the splits on Jordan Love, like up through week 10 and post week 10. Seems like a different player. He's playing with confidence. They're getting healthy. Watson's coming back. Dobbs looks good. Jaden Reed's come on. He's that dual threat. People call him like Deebo Samuel Light. Tucker Kraft has filled in admirably for Luke Musgrave. Musgrave's back now. Aaron Jones looked great. He's healthy again. Like, this team's going to be a tough out, I think, for San Francisco. I want to say there's no way that Green Bay wins in San Fran, but man, like just the way they're playing right now, I think they'll give San Francisco a run for their money. And we've seen it. When you force Brock Purdy into comeback mode, it's tough. You get him out of a rhythm. You force him to make some plays and not just execute the game plan, execute the play. So, yeah, if Green Bay can get ahead, same thing. They have to do the same thing they did to Dallas. If they win the toss, take the ball and go score a touchdown. Like, be able to play from ahead. They should keep the same exact game plan they had against Dallas. Do the best you can to stay in a balanced offense and force San Francisco to play from behind. That's what they have to do.
Yep, I think so. I completely agree. But I mean, there's no reason why. And who knows? I mean, any given Sunday, of course, during the playoffs, any given Saturday, it can be done. It's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, listen, Matt LaFleur has gotten his team supercharged. And when you ride a high like the way you did off of Dallas last week, where you basically boat raced them, there's nothing to say. I mean, San Fran, somebody also mentioned too that they felt like because San Fran is, they were off for a week. Sometimes, yeah, it makes a difference. Other times, not really, because you give the guys at least a week to get healthy, where you can give them instead of the 2 days off, maybe give them 3 days off. So therefore, they can rest up a little bit more. You go into light practices because you really don't need to go into a heavy practice because you already know what you're coming up against. Plus, you don't want to get your guys injured because this is a one and done game. You win, you move on. You lose, you're going home playing golf, for the offseason. So I can't wait. The game matchups for this weekend, it's going to be a loaded weekend for NFL action. So it's going to be really good.
Both Saturday games look great. They're both the 1 seeds taking on their respective opponents, but Houston and Green Bay are both playing so good. Like, would I be surprised? Yeah, but it wouldn't be like mind blowing to see one or both of those teams win.
I always say this much: it would boost CJ Stroud, his confidence. Not saying his confidence is not boosted, but you would never think that CJ Stroud, the way he acts, the way he talks, how he carries himself, you would think he's a seasoned veteran. I mean, no different than Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, I don't, and again, I could be wrong. I don't live in the San Fran area. I don't live in the Bay Area, so I don't know if the interviews that he does with the local media is any different. But you don't hear Brock Purdy like talking to himself like in third person or overhyping himself. He talks about what happened with the game, what worked, what didn't work. And obviously when you won the number one seed, it's different. Yeah, you got to have a little more fun with it because you guys were able to hang in there all season long. Obviously you took the Eagles for, a walk in the park, and then it was in your control, your destiny the rest of the time. So yeah, I think that might have been the only time, and it might have been for a matter of seconds, but he just talked about how fun it was, obviously, to be able to do it in San Fran, unless, again, the visiting team that is Green Bay comes in there and knocks you out of the park, then it's a whole different, then you hit the reset and it's like, oh, well, what happened? The other thing as well, coming from the Washington Post, as they're trying to figure out the cold case of Patrick Mahomes' cracked helmet, which I guess is kind of interesting because they say a hunk of polycarbonate plastic came flying off Patrick Mahomes' helmet during an NFL playoff game, which we all saw on Saturday. A bizarre and high-profile moment with an ease of uncertain explanation. I'm sure it had something to do with it being really cold. Mahomes told reporters after the game. The Chiefs beat the Miami Dolphins with temperatures in KC hovering around minus 4 degrees at kickoff, making it the fourth coldest game in the NFL history. There would be more shivering in the divisional round. Detroit Lions playing the Dome. Oh, who is the reporter? Speaking of.
I don't know who that reporter is. That was so funny. Asking Todd Bowles, how was your team going to prepare for the cold weather in Detroit?
Man, listen, we all have, believe me, all of us, we have that blank moment. And I'm pretty sure after it was asked, like, oh, did I really say that? Because you can't take it back. The only thing you do is make fun of yourself at that point. But I felt so bad. But it was funny, though, nonetheless. The Detroit Lions playing the Dome in Santa Clara, California, will be spared the frigid conditions felt in most of the country. But both the Texans, Ravens, and Chiefs Bills will be played in freezing cold, with the forecast calling for temperatures of 22 degrees at kickoff in Baltimore and 18 degrees in Buffalo. By the way, those who lived and resided, as I did in Maryland, you don't say Baltimore unless you're from out the area, is Baltimore. It's the way the locals end up saying it. Just like Dundalk, it's not Hun as in H-U-N, it's Hun as in H-O-N, which I found that extremely funny. So down in the Beltway corridor, I think it was 295, if I remember correctly, when you're coming from outside of Baltimore County and you're heading out towards Dunedin and stuff, there was a lady who used to put a sign, welcome to Dunedin, Hun, and it was always H-O-N. Every time someone would go out there and take the sign away, they never, I don't think to this day to figure out who the person was. The minute it was gone, I swear the person drove by and said, oh, my sign's gone. Slap, and they put another one up there. But it was great. The Dawkins and they're great folks. The Kraken Mahomes helmet raised an obvious question. Should players worry about the durability of their helmets in extreme cold? Barry Miller is the director of the outreach at the Virginia Tech Helmet Lab, which tests and grades helmets of all kinds. Through the cold affects materials used to make helmets, Miller said Mahomes' helmet break should be seen as an isolated misfortune, not a warning to other players. Quote, I would say your helmet is going to perform pretty darn well regardless, Miller said. I mean, it was kind of a fluke. No one else cracked their helmet. We've seen season after season in cold weather, and this doesn't happen very often. I wouldn't worry about it. The reason behind Mahomes' broken helmet remains a mystery, and the NFL wants to solve it. Which, listen, I would want to do the same thing too, because you don't think about it until the player comes to make a tackle or something else. And you got to remember, first of all, it's cold air, number one. So your fingers and everything else already feel brittle. But imagine if a player, as Mahomes is coming down and his fingers get caught up inside that broken piece. I mean, that's a gruesome injury if you really take a look at it. So, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll get to the bottom of it and figure out exactly what it is. But obviously the cold, I mean, that played a major factor into it, because you got to remember too, once they took off their helmets, they're putting on the seat warmers. So again, you're looking at you figure that machine blows out, I don't know, I think between 90 and 115 degrees, whatever it is, and it's a quick, blowing torches going through there. You're taking that off, unless you say it got up to 65. By the time you go take it off, you come into the next series, you're at below freezing temperatures. So that thing is going to go easily, just turning to ice. Because if you looked at it, the one vendor that was up there, he took out the bottle of Smart Water that's already in a freezer and instantly froze over. So it was wild. That was a wild weekend.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool video too of the smart water freezing up.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I think what I would have done just to have fun with it, if I was going to do that, just take the hot water like a lot of people do when it gets cold, and when you throw it, it turns into instant ice.
Yeah.
I think that would have been just to me, in my own opinion, I think it would have just been a lot better. The other one, well, I guess SI, we've already mentioned that one because obviously they're just dumb, period. Just dumb. And then you have Josh Hader reportedly agrees to a 5-year, $95 million deal with the Astros after 2 seasons with the Padres, which is, I mean, these contracts keep getting bigger. I want to say it's probably one of the bigger ones they paid for a closer. I mean, Mario Rivera, granted, I mean, they paid him money, probably the best closer of all time. You got to really think. But 5 years, $95 million. One of the best relievers in baseball is officially off the market. All-star closer Josh Hader reportedly agreed to a 5-year, $95 million deal with the Houston Astros on Friday, according to ESPN's Jeff Passan. He was ranked number 9 on Yahoo Sports list of winter's top 25 free agents. The contract, which is the largest, there you go, for a relief pitcher in baseball history by present day value, does not contain financial deferrals, according to Passan. With the move, the Astros pick up the best reliever in baseball the past 7 seasons and bolster an already strong bullpen. Since Hader made his debut with the Milwaukee Brewers in 2017, he had posted the highest FWAR among relievers. In his career, Hader, a lefty, has a 2.50 ERA or 2.5 ERA, 388 over 2/3 of an innings, and struck out 648 batters. That's not bad. That's not bad. So they're asking, or they're saying if he could remain effective after a strong 2023. I mean, he's still young. It's not like he's over his prime. So I couldn't see why not. But again, that's for Josh Hader at this point, the largest in baseball history at $95 million. And we've seen these contracts. I mean, look what Ohtani was, $500 million plus. The new player, what was it, from Japan? Another one, $500 million again. I mean, I don't know how these teams are be able to pick up with this, Dave, unless, I mean, the fans are going to get charged. Dodgers fans, they might as well go ahead and worry about doubling, if not tripling, the ticket prices, including the food, because you got to make the money back.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to see what the breakdown is per year and how much he gets paid per inning pitched, because if he's just a closer, like, he's not going out there and throwing 5, 6, 7 innings a game, and he might not even be going out there every game if they're not winning. So if he's acting strictly as a closer, like, what are we talking innings pitched per year? Probably what, 90 tops?
I would probably think so.
Yeah, so I'd be curious to see how much he actually pitches and what that $20 million plus per year gets him per inning, just to see how those numbers change. Because at one point they were talking about, remember they were talking about Albert Pujols making $500,000 per at bat and stuff like that. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what his per innings pitched money earned number is at the end of the year.
That would be interesting. He's 29 years old, but it doesn't say how much money he's going to be making. It is interesting, though, to see how much he would have make. I mean, because you're right. I mean, you're looking at, you figured you wouldn't come out, I wouldn't think, back-to-back games unless you do when early on in the season. But we've seen a lot of these closers. Either they brought them in the 8th, depending on how close the game was, to lead into the 9th. But I don't know. That's just a lot of money. Once again, in baseball, one of those sports that if you get injured, you get that money no matter what. At the very end. Also, the Mets are expected to bolster their bullpen by sending a legitimate reliever or 2 in the coming weeks, but they also remain interested in adding a serious bat to a still incomplete lineup. SNY's Andy Martino reported earlier this week that if the Mets were to make a splash at any point during the remainder of the offseason, it would likely be for a designated hitter. On Friday, John Heyman of the New York Post reported that New York has an interest in adding a hitter, with the Blue Jays, Giants, Rangers, Red Sox, Diamondbacks, and Mariners also seeking a bat. So just think about those teams right there. You're looking at the Blue Jays, the Giants, Rangers, Red Sox, Diamondbacks, and Mariners. And by the way, Diamondbacks, the surprise darlings this year in Major League Baseball from a team. This is why you never know what can happen the following season in Major League Baseball. The worst team in baseball the year prior in 2022 makes it to the World Series and almost ends up winning all in 2023. So I don't know if the Diamondbacks are really in need of a bat. I would think they would be more in need in their bullpen, because it seems like for their bats, for the most part, Granted, they're not spending millions upon millions of dollars, but those bats came alive. They just, they froze over when the Rangers came to town. But I mean, they were hot when it came to the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean, I think hitting in general is streaky overall. So you can go budget based on your hit, especially when you're a budget team. Like when you're a luxury tax team, when you're spending money, go get the best you can. But hitting's one of those ones that, if you just get a bunch of solid guys and they all just take turns getting hot at the right time, like you can build an offense around that.
I think you can. I mean, again, it's a lot of these guys are doing an absolute fantastic job. But hey, one never knows what is coming in here. Maybe my cousin has some breaking news. We'll find out. Okay, well, ex-Pro Bowler. All right. Thought maybe he has some breaking news for me, but apparently not. Who else? Other DH options still in the market include J.D. Martinez, Rhys Hoskins, and Justin Turner. Rhys Hoskins, even if you get him, you're not going to pay a whole lot of money for Rhys Hoskins. I don't think you would.
Yeah, I agree. He's I don't want to say he's washed, but yeah, his value is not nearly what it could be or what it used to be.
No. I can see for like Justin Turner, maybe J.D. Martinez. I think if I had to pick the out of the three, I'd probably go with Justin Turner out of the three of them, out of J.D. and Rhys Hoskins.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd probably rank Rhys as 3 out of that group. So
just like the Rays. I mean, the Rays are trying to bolster up, I mean, they let, oh man. I don't know why the Rays felt like they needed to clean house. It didn't make any sense to me. Obviously, the ones in jail for messing around with a minor.
Yeah.
Yikers.
That could be a reason right there. Just get everybody out of here and let's just get new people in.
Yeah. And that was the largest contract ever offered in Rays history. Wow. Yeah. And that fell apart so quick. So ridiculous. Listen, I mean, things happen. I get it. I understand it, but God almighty, that was, I would just hate that. Then when they arrived, what makes it even worse, we see like when criminals, it always cracks me up. Now, if you get arrested for, I understand there's been plenty of people that have gone to jail for something they've been accused of, and then they spend 10, 15, 20 years in jail, only to come down and find out they really weren't the person that actually committed the crime. But it makes me laugh. The ones that they know they did something wrong, it cracks me up when they try to put their hands over their face and then they put the head down. Bro, come on. Everybody can see you, man. But
yeah, we know, man.
When Interpol comes to look for you, that is never, ever a good sign. And especially when the cameras are waiting for you, bro. I mean, he tried to, like, don't let them see me. Don't let them see me. Well, they saw you, bro. Everybody saw you.
The whole world, Interpol. Again, this wasn't even like a federal level thing. This was international. Interpol was looking for you.
Yep. It's never. If you open up your door and you see Interpol across someone's chest, you might run and think real quick, oh, hell, what did I do?
Yeah, but damn, man.
That is bad. It is bad. So I'm just wondering how that all is going to end up playing out because it'll be super interesting to see what's going to end up happening because I mean that case is still open. The Rays got to figure out what they're going to end up doing. They as of late they haven't put up any kind of updates or anything else, and I know they feel bad because it's going to tie back to the organization. But I think most people will give them the benefit of the doubt because who knew? Listen, you don't know what every athlete on your team is doing at every moment, unless they're putting out there on social media. So if you got a guy who just left the clubhouse, he's going out to the restaurant. Hey, I just spent, whatever, $1,000 on his meal. And then he ends up home. Hey, I'm watching Netflix, whatever. Okay, for the most part. All right, well, he went from, played a game, went out to the restaurant, went home and Netflix and chilled. Now, if something happens after that, no one knows. But I kind of feel bad for the Rays organization because they really haven't been tarnished, at least since they've been here. I think the biggest tarnishment, if that's a real word, has been with them deciding where they want to put the stadium. Finally, they decided to agree upon it, being in St. Pete. I personally, I would have loved if it would have been in Ybor City, but the new stadium is supposed to be, state of the art. It's going to be really nice. I can't wait. It should be completed by, I think they said about 2027, 2028, when the lease was going to run up anyways at Tropicana Field. But even as goofy as that, have you ever, you've been to Florida or you haven't been to Florida, Dave?
Yeah, I've been to Florida a few times.
Have you ever been in Tropicana Field?
No.
Okay. The goofiest stadium, but the most lovable stadium because it's so goofy. And what ends up happening is, so you can get a cheap seat behind home plate. Usually they're super expensive no matter where you go. So there's a lower, kind of like a lower tier. I want to say maybe about 7 rows behind home plate. Then you can sit on the next level up, which is kind of like so you have, I guess, the 0 level and then the 100 level. So if you sit in the 100 level, the only thing is you have the entrance that comes in behind home plate. And so everybody's constantly walking around in front of you. So all you see is just a bunch of heads as you're trying to enjoy the game. But it is just so just goofy weird. And then if you're there during a thunderstorm, it is kind of like the freakiest thing because you'll see the dome is it's covered. So it's not like it's something like heavy up there, like if you would be up north. They didn't need, something that heavy because you're down here in the south. But if you're there during a lightning storm, it becomes like a show up in the ceiling because you can actually see the flashes of light. Then you'll hear the rumble of thunder behind it. But it's so weird when you go in there. But you love it though. I honestly, we've been down there for many games. I would honestly miss it as much as I miss the vet. I'll put it that way. But the new welcome change is going to be nice because I think it'll finally bring, fans out there because the only time, honest to God, when they come out, opening day, guaranteed to sell out. Opening night, guaranteed to sell out. And I want to say about the first week, usually guaranteed sellout. Now, the way they started this past season, they started selling out more and more. And then obviously they went on to their streak where they ended up losing. But guaranteed sellouts, Red Sox, Yankees, every freaking time. It is an absolute sellout. Not because of Rays fans, because of the Yankee fans.
Yankees and Red Sox fans, yeah.
Yep. So it's always guaranteed sellout. But I mean, it's fun though. I mean, it's dirt cheap for the games. It's fun. And then you can go around St. Pete, which is a beautiful downtown area. I mean, you go down to the pier. It's great. One of these times you guys have to make the trip out here. And it's a good time. It's a lot of fun. All right. As we quickly went into the end of the third quarter, I can't believe how quick the night is going by here. Coming up in the fourth quarter, we'll get into some more stories. Don't forget, though, the phone lines are open at 844-644-TONY, 844-644-8669. Also, you guys can make the comments as Isabel, Joey, and Mickey, who thinks I'm on weed for some crazy reason. You guys can make the comments here on the social media on Tony Bruno's Facebook page. Also, by the way, speaking of, someone decided to put out there a false story that Tony was dead. Obviously, it was not true because you guys heard Tony not only on his show, but also on the crossover with LFG. So don't believe that story. It's completely farce. I don't know why someone fabricates something stupid like that. But anyways, don't forget also, starting Monday morning, you guys can hear Pete Shepard in the morning from 7 to 10 a.m., followed by Default and Luby from 10 to 12. The best of from 12 to 1 p.m. Then LFG with Dave Benz, Jim Cosymore, Matt Fowler, and Jess Taylor, followed by Tony Bruno and Miss Robin with the Tony Bruno Show, the man who owns the network, the man who the network's named after. And I always love when Tony says, no one can fire me except for me, not even Miss Robin. It's absolutely fantastic when he says it. Of course, myself, Rich Quinones, normally here Monday through Friday. Real Delco Dave always joins us on a Friday night out there from the frozen Midwest tundra, as he is here tonight, filling in for Rich Quinones. And then AJ Johnson and Bleacher Brothers, Monday through Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. So after the break, we'll get into a little bit more. It is Martinez Company on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
You know I got a break.
You're listening to Martinez Company.
That's right.
On the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
When you say that, you said a lot of things nobody else can say. When you say that, you've gone as far as you can go to get the very best. When you say bud, you said the word that means you like to do it all. When you say bud, it means you want the beer that's got a taste that's number one. When you say hot, you tell the world you know what makes it all the way. When you say bud, you say you care enough to only want the king of beers. There is no other one, there's always something less, because the king of beers is leading all the rest. When you say Budweiser, you've said it all.
Everybody doesn't like something, but nobody doesn't like Sara Lee. Everybody doesn't like something, but nobody doesn't like Sara Lee.
Oh, the big red letters stand for
for the Jello family. Oh, the big red letter stands for the Jello family. That's Jello.
Yum, yum, yum.
Jello pudding.
Yum, yum, yum.
Jello tapioca pudding. Yes, sirree.
Patty cake cookies. Patty cake cookies. Patty cake baker, you're a famous man.
Well, all I do is make them just as good as I can.
What is your secret, Mr. Patty Cake Man?
I sample them, ladies, one from each pan.
Children, stop shoving. There's more in the oven. Hey, Mom!
Put patty cake cookies on your shopping list.
Oatmeal, chocolate chip, and sugar mist. I'm seeing varieties on your market shelf.
Why, they're so good you're lucky I don't eat them all myself.
Patty cake cookies. Patty cake cookies. Got it satisfied.
Blue cellophane package, you can see what's inside.
What makes the taste a good patty pan?
Well, to tell the truth, I sample them, two from each pan.
Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one. Schaefer pleasure doesn't fade even when your thirst is done. The most rewarding flavor in this man's world for people who are having fun. Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one. Yes, Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more
Schaefer, the one beer to have when you're having more than one.
Now, back to Martinez and Company
It's always playing in my car.
on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Lady, hear me tonight, 'cause my feeling is just so right as we dance by the moonlight. Can't you see you're my delight? Lady, I just feel like I won't get you out of my mind. I feel love for the first time, and I know that it's true. I can tell by the look in your eyes. Lady, hear me tonight.
Some extended version of Lady. That's absolutely my favorite song to dance to the first thing in the morning. One of these days, I'm going to make a video for you guys, throw it out there so you guys can see it. I'm telling you, I dance like an idiot first thing in the morning. Lady's one of those songs, but I absolutely get into that song. That's why I played the extended version just now, because it makes you move and groove. I don't care who you are. And if you're not dancing to it, I don't know what else to say, but it's a great time with that song. And speaking of great times, thank you all for joining us here at Martinez Company. I am Angel Martinez. He is Real Duckle Dave, filling in for Rich Quinones. Martinez Company on the Tony Bruno Sports Network. I did see a couple of comments that came in during the break as Mike Klein, the president and CEO of Philly of the South, says, "Happy Friday, guys. Keep up the good work. Fly, Eagles, fly." Yes, indeed. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pretty good party down there, even if it's not the Eagles. But Tampa Joe's the greatest place to be down here in Tampa, Florida. 9316 Anderson Road in beautiful Tampa, Florida. Hop, skip, and a jump from the airport. Mike Goodwin, who's been a sponsor of mine since Broad Street South pretty much existed. And I can't thank Mike Goodwin and the entire crew out there. They do such a great job. Mikey, Michelle, everybody does a tremendous job out there over at Tampa Joe's. Isabel also has said that I sang it at the same time You Said It All. Nice retro commercial. Thank you, Isabel. Thanks for singing along. It's actually, it's a good time. They're great commercials. My favorite one, though, is at Tequila, by far, always. And then Mike Lane says, Delco in the house, even though he did put Deco. You know, I got you, Mikey. I'm from Wallingford, now in Tampa. Yes, he is. So,
Mike, appreciate you, man. You moved the right direction. I just went west, and I'm still in a frozen tundra right now in single-digit temperatures and 20 inches of snow. You did it right. You went the right way to the right state, bro.
No, you never know. Unless, you know what your wife needs to do after she's done with the military, and then just pack up the entire family and move to Florida.
Yeah, Delco Day Steak's gonna be a 10-year plan. I'm gonna build it up, keep it around for a decade, sell it when she retires from the army, and then we'll move somewhere else. That's gonna be the go-to plan.
That's all right. That's not a bad plan. Believe me, not a bad plan. Now, before we get into the games here, one interesting article here that was made, as Mikey says, thank you, with the smiley face emojis, those who are keeping up here on the app, from Bro Bible. This is the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders throw an unsportsmanlike conduct flag on the Packers players. Multiple Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders have come out to criticize Green Bay players following an NFL playoff matchup against the Packers, which was just last weekend. They say that they were, quote unquote, on the verge of tears because of the actions of the opposing team. Dallas was beat soundly in the contest, losing 48-32 to their NFC rival. The defeat effectively ended the team's season, ruining any hopes of a Super Bowl run. Questions, though, surrounding the futures of head coach Mike McCarthy and quarterback Dak Prescott immediately arose as those supporting the franchise expressed frustration, but we all know how that turned out. They're both coming back. Green Bay, on the other hand, was ecstatic. Excited about advancing to the next round, players and fans celebrated while dishing out a little smack talk to their opponent. Cowboys cheerleaders said the Packers took it a step too far. Darian Lassard took to TikTok to vent about what transpired over the weekend, getting support from a teammate from the comments section. Now, unfortunately, with the audio, I can't play it. One is because it's over, number one, on TikTok, and I don't think the sound. I guess I could try to play it. You guys might be able to hear. Delco Dave, I don't know if you'll be able to hear or not. We're going to try, maybe. Let's see if I can give this a shot, even though she already started talking. Let's see if I can go back to it. Give me 1 second. Let's see. All right, the audio is going to come out too low for everybody here, but apparently what she was saying was that at the Cowboys versus Packers game Sunday, I have never experienced such disrespect from other teams' players, Lassiter claimed. The, quote, Packers would come up to us standing on the sidelines, minding our own business, and start yelling at us sometimes. It was this close, she continued while holding her hand inches from her face. I feel like that's unsportsmanlike conduct. It's so crazy how they can't do that to the Cowboys players, but they can do it to the cheerleaders, and there's nothing going to happen. I understand the playoffs is a huge deal, but that does not mean your humbleness and respect for women flies out the window. A teammate, Jensen Morrell, backed Lassiter's story in the comment section, replying literally was on the verge of tears. Now, listen, I don't ever condone any kind of violence or anything else like that. And if that being the case, truthfully, the NFL should end up looking into it, because I don't think a grown man should be yelling at any woman. I don't care, they're cheerleaders. Yes, I understand they're there to cheer up the team the whole 9 yards. Half of those ladies only make about $50 a game, some maybe $100, but they're not there to be abused. The whole idea is the reason why they're going to cheer on this team. Even if Dallas is doing bad, it doesn't matter. The fans come to get entertained by the cheerleaders, whether they're male or females. It doesn't matter. But to me, just don't get in their face and start yelling at them. I mean, they don't deserve it.
Yeah, that's a line you don't cross. I completely agree. That's the first I'm hearing about it, but I agree with you, man. The league should look into that. If that's factual, if that's what happened, they should 100% look into that, and the action should be taken against those players. There's no reason for that.
There isn't. To me, it doesn't make any sense. But again, you have to, keep it classy, as Ron Burgundy always said. Keep it classy, San Diego. In this place, this time it'd be keep it classy, Green Bay. But again, I think they should look into it, because there's no reason to bring any woman into tears, no matter what it is, unless it's onions. Then it's a whole different story. You can't avoid onions. But
that's ridiculous, man. I know you want to get into the picks, but I want to talk about the Flyers real quick. If you
yes, as they are hot.
five wins in a row. They just beat up on Dallas 5-1. Owen Tippett looks like he could be a future star in this league, man. Like he was one of the big piece we got back in the Claude Giroux trade, and he is coming into his own this year. Everybody knows about the Cutter Gauthier trade and stuff, and Jamie Drysdale came in first couple games, made his presence felt. He's been sick this past week or so, which is reasonable. Yeah, you got to take into account that he found that he was getting traded in the middle of the night, flew on a plane, made it to practice, jumped on a road trip with the Flyers, played a couple games, wasn't getting a lot of sleep. It's in the middle of winter, so I don't think there's any cause for concern there. That's going to be a long-term thing. They have, for as long as I've been a fan of the for the Flyers, so you're talking 34 years, we have had perpetual goaltending problems. Right now, between Hart and Irsay, we have two very capable and, dare I say, good goalies. This is very much right now a 1A, 1B scenario. And this team is second in the Metro Division, 2 points out of first place. Flyers are playing great right now. We are going to have exciting hockey March, April timeframe for these Flyers.
Yeah, we are. And they travel down here to Tampa Bay January 23rd. So that's a Tuesday night. Sucks for me, though, because I guess I could partially do the show on Tuesday because I would love to see the turnaround for what this team has done. But, as a dedicated broadcaster, you do the right thing, and maybe you take the show on the road. No, unfortunately, I can't. I can't. Even if I asked Tampa Bay for double secret permission to connect to one of their Ethernet outlets, they'll probably tell me, no, not a shot. But listen, the Flyers, with Jonesy and Briere, it was definitely the right move for the Flyers. I think they've won the fan base definitely over. And I've said it, Dave, the reason why I turned away from the Flyers, because they weren't serious enough to do something with his team. I mean, it was just the same dribble every year. And if you're a season ticket holder, you really got to think about it. Think if you're in that bottom tier, right behind the glass, those season tickets it's not just cheap overall anyways in hockey. But when you're closer to the ice, you're talking about a dedicated fan. You're spending more money than you would be for an NFL season because obviously you get more games to watch at home. But, I'm just glad that they were able to turn this team around originally. And shame on me because when Tortorella was first hired, I thought, all right, you know what? And the only reason why I thought negative of the hire was because I felt bad for John, thinking that he got thrown to the wolves and his organization wasn't going to do anything about it. The first season proved me right. Season number 2 now with him proves me wrong because obviously with Briere and Jonesy have turned things around, which now, John's got to feel like, hey, now finally that the team is actually behind the players, now the players are listening and responding to me a lot more, which is great. So the Flyers also know, I think this year, if I remember correctly, Dave, this year is either this year or next year is the final year that the Flyers will have their name on the Stanley Cup from winning it back to back.
Yeah, so, that sounds about right. Yep, it's coming down to that. You're 100% right. I mean, I think Tortorella was the right hire. He's a culture changer. He's a culture builder, which is somebody you wanted. I'm glad that they brought in Jonesy and Briere. And I will say, as much fun as this past, the season's been so far, Tortorella did throw some cold water on some things when he had his quotes about the trade deadline come up. He's like, listen, he goes, we got to still, take everything in stride. Like, these are human beings we're dealing with here. Like, you can't fall in love. Like, we're going to do what's right by the team come the trade deadline. And all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, like, who's leaving now? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but they're right. It's a business. You got to do what it takes for the team. And but you can't take away from the joy. This has been the most enjoyable Flyers season in probably like a decade.
Yep, it has been. Someone who I sent something earlier to, give me a second. Let me see if I can somehow or another squeeze them in. Let me go to, I'm going to switch a couple.
David Burns, appreciate you checking in from Cedar Hills, Texas, man.
Yes, sir. Hang on a sec. This character, which I sent something earlier, who decides to chime in at 7:48 p.m. Goodness gracious. Oh, and then, listen, take that sweatshirt. Matter of fact, I should just kick you off right now for that freaking ridiculous sweatshirt. What?
I was eating dinner, and then I come back, and I see you sent me something from Martinez and Company, the link, and I'm like, you couldn't have, give me a heads up at, 6 o'clock?
No. That's why you pay attention to your phone, Slick, no matter what. Listen, real quick before we get into the picks, because we only have about 6 minutes left here on the show. What's your thoughts on the hire as our college expert on Bill O'Brien in Ohio State?
I think it's good. I don't think Ryan Day wants the responsibility of calling the offensive plays anymore. So it's a good hire. Bill O'Brien's been successful wherever he's been. And I think it brings a whole new dimension to their offensive program. So, I like the hire. Again, if you cannot beat Jim Harbaugh this year, or if Jim Harbaugh leaves and you can't beat Michigan without Jim Harbaugh, then Ryan Day is gone. So he had to do something. I'm not going to say it's a drastic move, because it's not a drastic move, but the onus doesn't have to fall on Ryan Day anymore about the offensive stuff.
All right. Well, I had another question for you too, but unfortunately we only have a couple minutes there, Slick. Next time, pay attention and see what's going on. Anyways, as I always give Ryan a hard time, Ryan Neff, by the way, joining us from the line of scrimmage with Ryan Neff. You guys can hear and see his show on Sports Radio 102.9 FM The Game every Tuesday night with Delco Dave as his co-host. See how it all comes around full circle? So as we get into it, we have just a couple minutes left here on the show. Houston, Baltimore, Saturday, 4:30. This one is going to be a great game. All four games are going to be absolutely outstanding, but Houston, Baltimore, I guess, Casey, I'll go with you first. I can't believe you wore that goofy sweatshirt, but go ahead.
I just think Baltimore rested. Defense going to play. Look, Houston has to go outdoors. Don't know what the weather's going to be like, but I just think they're not going to run all over them. I think DeMeco Ryans will have them ready, but Baltimore wins.
Dave?
Yeah, it's man. Even if they're watching what the Packers did last week to Dallas, I can't go with the upset here. I agree. Baltimore's just a more talented, better team. I love DeMeco Ryans as the head coach, but Harbaugh's been through it, man. So got to go with Baltimore here.
All right. And by the way, thank you for mentioning David Burns. Yes, he is watching from Cedar Hill, Texas. Dave, always thank you for coming back to the show. He's been on a couple of times. As far as here watching the show, so we do appreciate it and listening on the app. Also, goodness gracious. Green Bay, San Francisco, Saturday, 8:15. By the way, I'm going to go with the dark horse. I'm taking the Texans just because. Green Bay, San Fran, Dave.
Yeah, once again, man, I'm going with it's a boring pick, but San Francisco seemed like the most complete team all year long. They beat up on some good teams. I love the story with Jordan Love and LaFleur and the way that young teams come together, but I almost feel like San Francisco is a team of destiny this year. They're probably going to be the Super Bowl champ, so San Francisco.
Yeah, same here. Going to Dallas and beating the Cowboys, who were ill-prepared. Going into Dallas and doing it is one thing. Going into San Francisco, when San Francisco is well-rested. Green Bay puts up a fight, but San Francisco wins the football game.
Again, I'm going with the dark horse. I'm going with Green Bay just because I can. That's what I do. Anyways, moving on, Sunday, 3 o'clock, Tampa Bay, Detroit. That is a no-brainer for me. I'm going with Detroit. Dave?
Oh, so this is where I'm going with the underdog. I like Baker Mayfield. I like Mike Evans. Those are two of my favorite players. I feel like they're going to shock Detroit in Detroit. I think Mike Evans is a big game after a couple key drops. So I think Tampa Bay upsets the Lions.
I'm going to go Detroit just from the standpoint of they got their monkey off the back with the win against the Rams. I know it was a close game. Detroit has something rolling. I'm not saying they're going to make the Super Bowl. Close game throughout, but I think Detroit in the fourth quarter wins it on a late field goal.
All right. Mine is Ryan Swift. Buffalo, KC, Sunday, 6:30. Dave.
Buffalo, man. I said it earlier. We touched on this. The pressure's on them. That window's starting to close. KC has nothing to prove. So this is going to be, we talked about Mahomes having to play on a road playoff game for the first time. I don't think any of that really matters. I just think Buffalo comes out and plays to their potential that we've all wanted to see them do in the playoffs for a couple years now. Josh Allen, McDermott, they get it done at home and punch the ticket to the AFC Championship game.
Ryan Swift?
You know what? I was going to hop on Buffalo because I've got to be objective here.
Yes. No, go ahead. Say it. Don't go with KC. Go ahead, Buffalo.
But the fact that Gabe Davis for Buffalo is going to be out of the football game, it's going to put all the pressure on Diggs. I think Kansas City's defense does just enough. If Gabe Davis would have played, I know Buffalo has the two tight ends, but I'm going to go with my Chiefs, but this is going to be really, really close.
Not shocking, surprising at all. I'm going with Buffalo. Sorry. Just because I can't stand KC. Not really. All right, listen. Andy Reid, he could be looking potentially to retire. If you're going to go out on top, you're going to try and make that elusive ring for the third one. But you're right. It's going to be a close one, but I just want to go with Buffalo just because. So to recap for me, Houston, Green Bay, Detroit, KC, and then everybody else. So anyways, enjoy the weekend, folks. We thank you all for tuning in here. Martinez Company, even though Ryan Swift came in later in the game. Yes, I changed his name. He's no longer Ryan Neff. That is Ryan Swift until she disappears. But and there'll be more to talk about, I'm pretty sure, on Monday. But thank you all for tuning in here. Thank you to Real Delco Dave, Ryan Neff for jumping in here at the last minute. Also for Isabel for tuning in, along with Dave and Mike and Joey B and everyone else. AJ in San Antonio earlier on. Don't forget, over the weekend, you guys can listen to the best stuff. Come Monday morning, it is Pete Shepard on the Pete Shepard Show from 7 to 10 a.m., followed by Defo and Luby from 10 to 12. The best of from 1 to 3, from 12 to 1, as that time slot has gone away. But the time slot now for 1 to 3, LFG, Dave Burns, Jim Cosymore, Matt Fowlers, Jess Taylor, Tony Bruno, Miss Robin on from 3 to 6 p.m. Martinez Company from 6 to 8 p.m. with Rich Quinones. Yeah, it's a lot to go on with. Isabel comes in with the last comment with some cool and heart emojis as well. Again, and you appreciate it. Have a great weekend, folks. I'm trying to wrap it up real quick. Enjoy your weekend. Don't drink and drive.
You're listening to Tony Bruno Sports Network. Tony didn't invent sports radio. He perfected it.
And for those who have stood by here, thank you once again for everyone who tuned in tonight. We really do appreciate it. We can't do the show without you guys, and we can't thank you enough for tuning in each and every week here at Martinez Company, especially on the Tony Bruno Sports Network. It's been growing. We've been having fun. Ryan, who is a part of it, and listen, as much as I like to give Ryan a hard time because he's a Kansas City Chiefs fan, which one I'm going to make him switch alliances. But nonetheless, he is a Chiefs fan. Obviously, he's going to pick the Chiefs. And then Real Delco Dave for always coming in here every single week. We do appreciate it. Dave, make sure you let the wonderful people know once your pipes get fixed again, where they can find you in your delicious steaks.
Yeah, so plumbers were in today. Water pipes back up and running, good to go. You can find me if you're in the Lincoln area, Omaha area, 1140 O Street, Lincoln, Nebraska. We're down there in the alley behind Sutter Heyman. Delco Dave Steaks on Facebook. Come on down, get a cheesesteak. I'm the best cheesesteak in the state of Nebraska.
All right. Ryan Swift, where can the people find you?
Obviously on Twitter, at the Nevsky. If you have any questions or comments there, at the Nevsky on Twitter or X or whatever the hell they call it, XYZ. And then you can also email me at ryanneff68@gmail.com. Any questions, comments about the line of scrimmage on Broad Street South or on our Broad Street South network.
That's right. Over on Sports Radio 102.9 FM, the game was 69 taken? Or did you just owe one?
Oh, 1968 was the year I was born there, Chief.
Okay.
No pun intended.
Boy, oh boy. See, Dave, I led into that one. He could have just tripped over it, but no, he's got, one of these days.
And just to go back before you signed off on TBSN, you said that you picked Houston, you picked Green Bay, you picked Baltimore, and you picked Kansas City. You said Kansas City, you didn't say Buffalo.
I did say Buffalo.
No, you didn't, Dave. He said Kansas City.
I honestly don't remember because you said the teams you just listed. You said Houston and Baltimore, and they're playing each other. So there's no way he picked Houston and Baltimore.
That's
or
right.
Whatever the hell. Said,
That's right.
Go back and take a look at the end of the show. You said Kansas City.
Now I know what I said.
No, you said Kansas City, my friend.
Wrong, sir. Wrong. I don't think so. Whatever's. I know I'm right, so it doesn't matter. Or at least I want to imagine that I am. Anyways, thank you once again to everybody who tuned in for a couple extra minutes here on the Martinez Company, Tony Bruno Sports Network. Don't forget also over on No Filter Network, Tony and Miss Robin will keep the party going until about 9 p.m., usually a little-ish after 9. I didn't get the chance to do the crossover tonight because I still have to have, the last time we did it, which was a lot of fun, the only problem is I'm trying to get it where when we do the crossover, I can see them the guys can't see them. So in order for that to happen, I have to make a loophole in there where the audio won't double, or you guys won't hear the echo. So we're going to try and work on that maybe sometime soon. And so we can do the crossover, and therefore everybody can end up having fun and enjoying themselves. So don't forget, as we always say, please do not drink and drive. Arrive alive. Also, don't text and drive, because it is absolutely not worth it. It just isn't. So take care of one another. Make good choices. Enjoy your weekend as we go out to a little bit of David Guetta. Have yourself a great week.
I'm feeling alright, baby. I'ma have the best fucking night of my life. And